Yeah, I don't know. Is there anything specific about this event else that you wanted to talk about or anything?
Anything specific about this event? I just want to redouble on the point that this group of people that are coming out specifically, I think it's impressive that they've been able to come out, because a lot of these people are introverts. A lot of these people are people who prefer to stay home, play video games, do that type of stuff. And so there had to be something particularly motivating to get them out there. And of course, interacting with streamers is one point, but if you get all this political knowledge online all the time, if you never take it out and apply it in the real world, it's political hobbyism. And seeing all these people make that jump from political hobbyism to using the knowledge they've garnered from years of watching these conversations online in the real world, that is such a positive thing to see. And it makes me feel like that a lot of these conversations we've been having online are actually bearing some fruit in the real world, in the flesh and blood.
Yeah, I feel like people are kind of missing out if they don't apply this to the real world and just keep it online, right? So, and honestly, I think the streamers are like one of the smallest draws for these kind of events, because everybody's just having a lot of fun hanging out with each other, all the community members that are out here. So I get inspiration from their energy. I think it's really cool to see all these mostly young people out here knocking doors. And this is also a chance for us, the online community, not just the streamers, but for like the community members to demand attention and say, we've got something, we've got motivated people, interested people, and they want to aim that at something. And so I feel this is a chance for us to command more resources from like DC in general, like elected officials and whatever organizations are out there. Come get involved with us. We got something good here.
It's a very empowering experience to go out and get directly involved in politics. And for a lot of these people, I think that it's also super important just for the health of our democracy. When you go out and you knock on someone's door, you might not convince them. You might convince them, you might not. You might move them a little bit. But there's a certain importance for the health of our society and not seeing these values that are often lambasted or smeared, or I would say the progressive movement that is often mischaracterized in the press or on cable news, particularly the more like vitriolic type of news. That social environment is very different than what people experience in the real flesh and blood. When somebody smiles at you, looks in your eye and says, yeah, I do believe in universal health care, or yeah, I do believe that a woman should have the right to choose. And it's not the baby murdering, deep state, horrible lizard people that they've been led to believe on a lot of these vitriolic social media platforms whose algorithm prioritizes hateful rhetoric, prioritizes vitriolic rhetoric over that type of constructive dialogue. I think that's important for the health of our democracy. So this isn't just about this election, it's also about making sure that we can all live together.
Yeah, it's so nice to get off the internet sometimes, because negativity gets promoted and it gets a lot of attention, and so you can kind of get stuck in this like dark place. And so coming out here and meeting and hanging out with people and being positive is really helpful for everybody. And they've got a hell of a race here with Sherrod Brown running for re-election. This is a Democrat who's in a red state. He's the only Democrat that can win. He's got a real chance of winning re-election, and I would say fate of us controlling the Senate depends on that, us being the Democrats. And right now it's a 50-50 split with Joe Manchin retiring, and so we need to hold on to this seat. So.
And Larry Hogan, I'm from Maryland. Larry Hogan, who was the former Republican governor of Maryland, just announced he's running for Senate. So that's potentially another seat, that's Ben Cardin's seat, which we thought was solid, we thought was safe. But because it's Larry Hogan, and for whatever reason, the Maryland population has decided to go into a long-term romance with the person who killed the red line to Baltimore, from the person who has done a ton to undermine funding into public education when it comes to us trying to reform our education system in Maryland. For whatever reason, they have entered into this long-term love agreement with him, and now it's really competitive. So all these Senate races are only becoming more competitive as another election, another possible flip of a Republican Senate seat is now on the national stage.
Yeah, and then this is one that we can actually hold on to. So if we can make this one a little easier and spend less resources, we're going to have to deal with now a new competitive race in Maryland. So it's a tough map that we have in the Senate, but honestly, a lot of it goes right through Ohio with Sherrod Brown. So this seat is super important. This state is going to play a big role in our 2024 election.
Ohio is going to be a deciding factor on who controls the Senate come 2024. And while a lot of people don't think Ohio is quote unquote in play, a lot of time if you just count it out, that is what will make it not in play, like I said earlier. But Sherrod Brown very much can win this race, but we're going to have to devote the manpower hours, we're going to have to devote the resources to do it. We cannot just count it as it's Sherrod Brown, he's popular, he's got pro-union sentiments. He's generally popular compared to Democrats in the state. Don't take any of these victories for granted. Taking victories for granted is how we get people like Donald Trump.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, this is an exciting race. It's cool to see so many people start to get energized. And I feel like with the canvassers that we've met so far, and we're going to get to meet some and chat with them here on the stream, so that's going to be cool. These guys have been looking for a place to put their energy.
Yes.
And they came from all over the country. I met people that came from Florida, California, Virginia. One guy told me that he was in a carpool, that they picked him up halfway and then drove a couple hours. I mean, it takes some dedication to get in a car with some strangers, even if they are from the same community.
I heard one guy came from Scotland.
Oh, yeah.
That's weird. I can't believe someone would do that. That's a far raid. We're getting foreign infiltrators of our democratic system. Can you believe that?
True.
Loaner box. But another thing that I've noticed with these canvassers specifically is a lot of people online, when it comes to them getting angry after they see a YouTube video about something that like angers them about abortion, whatever it is, for a lot of these channels, it's the anger only exists to then send you to another video to get you more angry. So you research more and you dig a deeper and deeper hole until you're like in a depressive fit where your only vent is to get more angry. Whereas a lot of channels are specialized and try to keep you there, keep you angry, keep you watching. If you vent those people out of there to take that frustration and make it in the real world and ground it in, local elections or county, school races, whatever it is, then they're doing that instead of watching the YouTube videos. And so I feel that a lot of the reason why we haven't had more events like this with online political commentators getting people mobilized is because of the financial incentive.
Yeah.
And so that's why we also need to make sure to try to utilize these resources more and try to bring this online. It's great. It's fantastic, but it's only political hobbyism until you bring it IRL.
Yeah, and like I said, I feel like people are really missing out on the full experience, shall we say, because we all care about this stuff, right? Obviously, if we're watching videos and tuning into streams about politics all day long, it means something to us. But if you don't go out into the real world and connect and actually do something besides voting, then you're missing out on the full experience. So